Wasabi, welcome back to the channel. We're going to look at the new Battle Pass Season 11 documents, but before we get into that, we'll just cover what you need to do about the current Season 10 that's about to finish. The most important bit of information is it finishes on May the 30th this coming week, but it finishes at 0200 in terms of server time, which is UTC +8. That's Singapore Perth time. So if you're on the east coast of Australia, add 3 hours to that. Sorry, 2 hours at the moment. So that's 0400. So what I'd suggest is that you actually do all the tasks you need to complete by the end of the evening of the 29th of May. Now, the most important thing to address is the Battle Pass points that you've accumulated. So you need to go into the event store in game and allocate those points to whatever it is you want to spend them on, whether that be bonds or crew members that you haven't already received, or the 3D styles are the main choices there. So make sure you address that by the end of the 29th, because basically you'll lose those points as soon as the season finishes at 0200 server time or 0400 East Coast Australia time. So with that out of the way, what we're going to do with this video, normally we talk about the changes, but we're going to focus in particular on the things that are extra value here, and also how you can make the most of the way that the points are accumulated. So some tips about that. So no tricks as such, but we want you to get the most out of it if you're investing your time in Battle Pass. So Season 11, it's about to start. It will start on May the 30th. I assume this will be at normal start time, which is 1600 server time, or around about that 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 o'clock in the afternoon server time, but on the same day that Season 10 finishes. Couple of new things here. The collection that was introduced in Chapter 10, we didn't get a lot of information until basically nearly finished Season 10, that is, not Chapter 10. But now the collection you know about. So basically once you've completed each of the 3 chapters, you'll basically earn additional tokens, but also components like styles and decals, etc., for basically finishing the standard chapters. So nothing to do with the collection other than show, as you complete it, you automatically start completing the collections. But that gives you, some extra rewards. So just be aware of that. Changes to the actual rewards. So the most important change here is that experimental equipment is now available. And it's available in the standard pass, so you won't need to purchase anything to earn the experimental equipment. We'll have a look at that when we get down to that section. Then there's a temporary chapter. Last season we had one which had its own sort of timeline and or a shortened timeline and tasks that you had to complete, and that gave you the ability to earn, and in this case, earn a reward vehicle. So that is something to be aware of as well. But that will appear in the middle of the season, so that will have its own points earning process, and that will be like a standalone chapter in the middle of everything. So no change to core vehicles and styles, etc. You're probably very familiar with how that works, so I'll let you read the guide as far as that goes. Progression hasn't changed, still 50 points per stage and 50 stages in each chapter. So 250, sorry, 2,500 points, I should say, you have to earn to go from one stage to the next. So no difference there. We just got obviously different stories, so you've got different commanders, different tanks, and just to emphasize again, the tanks for this particular season are new ones that haven't been in Battle Pass before. So you've got the T-57 Heavy, the Foch B, and the Type 5 Heavy, and story elements and commanders to go along with those. So again, I'll let you read the guide and watch the video. Is probably the best way to learn about that, but that's just the embellishment of it. So we want to get to the reality of it. Battle Pass points. Okay, so this is probably the critical thing I just want to emphasize here. You can earn Battle Pass points, as we're aware, in random battles, in Frontline, and now Onslaught. You can earn Battle Pass points and Steel Hunter. So all the rewards for those things have been sort of recast around the fact that you're earning Battle Pass points. So that's why Frontline is less standalone rewards than it had before. So it's all been sort of integrated into this whole Battle Pass points model. So don't forget that you can earn points there, and the maximum number of points that you earn per vehicle, and we'll get to that in a second, but it's only limited to random battles and Onslaught, so you can earn additional points in Frontline, and Steel Hunter obviously doesn't use your own vehicles, but the key thing I want to emphasize here is daily missions. Complete the daily missions is the best way of earning points. You can see here 3 tiers of missions plus a bonus mission, so that's 25, 45, 70 points that you can earn per day, every day of the season. So that's something that you should really aim to do. That's the addition to anything that you're earning in battles. So all the normal accumulation of Battle Pass points in battle results, whether it be Onslaught or random battle or Frontline or whatever, all the standard rules apply there in terms of how much points you earn, but that's an additional set of missions that you can earn at the same time, which give you bonus points. Now let's talk about the point limit per vehicle. So you're familiar, and basically the missions can be done in any tier as well, so don't forget about that. So whereas Battle Pass points in battles are earned from tier 6 to tier 10, you can earn additional Battle Pass points in any tier, so remember that. So this point limit, so this is basically the limit that you can earn on a given vehicle. So tier 6, you can only accumulate up to 100 Battle Pass points in that vehicle, and then you've got to start using another one. Tier 10, you can accumulate up to 700 points, and for those core vehicles, which are the ones aligned with the story arc, you can earn 1,000 Battle Pass points. But what happens when you get to that point limit is you then automatically earn an additional amount. So for tier 6, you earn 15 Battle Pass points. For tier 10, it's 35. For tier 8, it's 25, etc. But have a look at the percentage value that is. So that's 15% additional Battle Pass points, and yes, it's a fixed amount, but for your tier 6s, you get the best bang for the buck in terms of completion of the point limit. So one thing I'd advise is, get as many tier 6 vehicles as you can and get them to the limit. That's a big jump, whereas for here it's a very small percentage change to that, and you don't get that amount until you've reached this limit. So this is about progressing faster through the chapters, which is really what you need to keep in the back of your mind as you're going along. All right, so let's get down to the rewards or improved pass. Probably the main change here is in the rewards. So let's focus on the rewards, and we'll get down to that because it affects both the standard players and the players who are going to buy the improved pass. Items for tokens, we've covered most of these. In fact, we've done reviews on these new tanks here, the BZ58-2, the KBZ3, which just came out in terms of the review, so you can go back and have a look at those, make your decision about whether they're worth spending the tokens on. Remember that the tokens do carry over from one season to another. It's just the Battle Pass points that don't. So if you want to get one of these reward tanks, and probably my choice would be the Cobra, but I'll leave that to you in terms of your style of play. But don't worry about spending your points. You only have to finish your points spending until you reach the end of the season, which will be end of the year, I should say, sorry, which will be December the 20th. And just one thing, reminded me, things you need to do before May the 30th. The other thing you need to do is allocate or choose the rewards that you get from completing the chapters. Sorry, that's the one thing that slipped my mind. Yes, if you don't choose the rewards specifically, if you haven't done that already, you get a bunch of default choices. So read the guide to find out what that is. Now, that's not a bad thing, but it just means it removes the element of choice from yourself. All right, so what do you get from points? Now, this is really where the changes are. So let's have a look at the base rewards first. So firstly, bonds, you earn them in the standard, which I think has been the case now for at least a season or two. But what we're getting now, oops, we're going all the way to the end. What we're getting now is improved equipment. Let's get back to the start. So you can see here at stage 5, you're getting experimental equipment, not improved equipment. So that's been added, and you, in 4 of these stages in each chapter, you can earn one of these types of improved equipment, experimental equipment. Bad choice of words, I'm sure, in terms of the naming. So there are 3 different types, so you'll end up, if you complete all 3 chapters, you'll end up with 4 of each, basically. So they're probably the main choices. The bonds themselves have, in Wargaming's terms, been reworked. What that means is they've adjusted it downwards. So in the older seasons, you could earn the total of about 4,300 bonds by completing all 3 chapters, and now it's down to 3,000 bonds. So not a huge change, but just be aware that they balance that out in terms of giving you the improved equipment, experimental equipment. Oh, I'm going to smack myself. Now for the improved pass, you get the additional rewards, and probably the major difference, and I wouldn't call it a major difference really, it's probably not the right choice of words, but is you now earn gold. Now in the normal battle pass, once you've purchased the improved pass, you do earn daily gold anyway, which actually exceeds the amount you get here. So that hasn't changed. That's been part of the game for a little while. Here's basically an additional 300 gold per chapter completion, so a total of 900. But if you take the cost of improved pass for 1 chapter is 2,500, you're basically getting 300 gold off that by completing it. So it's making the cost of the pass really 2,200. So a discount really of about 12-13% roughly on the improved pass if you're purchasing gold. So they're probably the key things to talk about. The one other thing to get out of the rewards here is in the bounty equipment, there's now bounty hardening available, and that's not really been available very often. So if you want to look at something unique out of the bounty equipment, I'd go for the bounty hardening because you don't get that opportunity very often. So remember that one. All right, they're probably the key things to call out. The rest of it is pretty much standard Battle Pass stuff. So end of season, and this is where we mentioned earlier that you'll get these default choices of the training booklet nations that they're related to, and the training guides, etc. And you get universal blueprints, but if there's any national blueprints, then they get chosen for you. Any bounty equipment and related sort of stuff, they will choose the type of equipment for you, so you'll get it based on what this table is for that. So they're the key things to get across. Hopefully you've learned something from that, and if you did, please give the video a thumbs up. It does get it in front of more people. Makes the algorithm think that it needs to be shown to other people, I guess. And hopefully you liked it, and you get some value out of Battle Pass as a result. So in any case, that's the end of the video. So thanks very much for watching, and we'll have more content to follow up. Cheerio.